And he was talking shit about you, bro. He shit at me because I was talking to you, bro. Said I was playing with you.
Bro, he kicked me too from the clan because I was playing with Ganesh, bro. He's that petty. He's literally that fucking petty.
Sounds like he's a vagina.
It's truly eye-opening how deceptive some people can be when they feel threatened. There's a certain someone out there who's so determined to control the narrative, they don't want anyone to play with me. Why? Because they know that if someone does, that person will quickly see the truth, that I'm capable of defeating not only them, but their entire clan. They fear the exposure, the realization that their dominance is a facade, and they'd rather isolate me than face a real challenge. Look at the track record. Everyone who's left their so-called war clan has gone on to improve drastically. The moment they break free from the toxicity and outdated tactics, their skills level up, and they've consistently turned around to defeat War Clan. It's no coincidence. Freedom breeds growth, and growth exposes weakness. War Clan has become a stepping stone, a mere roadblock that players overcome on their way to true success. What makes it even more laughable is their reliance on cheesy, overpowered builds, always looking for the easiest path to victory. Usually, I'm over here running a basic AR, sticking to the fundamentals and still taking them down. And when I do decide to switch to a different build or weapon, the challenge becomes unbearable for them. They crumble under the pressure because they simply can't adapt. Without their crutches, they're exposed for what they truly are, unprepared and incapable of competing fairly. The truth is simple. War Clan doesn't dominate. They survive by deception and cheap tactics. But the moment someone steps out of their shadow, they see how fragile that illusion is. Take a look at how effortless it is to one-tap these low-tier War Clan members. They're easily some of the weakest players in the game. It's clear they don't have any strong players in their clan, especially since they lose every fight they're in. These snipes are literally making War Clan members rage, even while they resort to multi-grouping. War Clan is notorious for teaming up with other players to make themselves look better. Anyone who isn't brainwashed or delusional can see right through it and recognize the truth. Here we are, trying to set up a 4v4 with this low-tier clan. We pulled together a full group and found them again. At first, they tried to engage, feeling confident, but quickly started running away while spamming foam to slow us down. War Clan is clearly made for low-tier players. The name War should really stand for We Always Running, because as you can see, that's all they ever do. War Clan constantly runs away, only to die and respawn at another checkpoint or safe house. After a while, they end up rage quitting and leaving the server altogether.
Why you always run into checkpoints with a
They
gun,
argue
bro?
among themselves, pointing fingers and blaming each other for what went wrong. Then, in an attempt to boost their morale, they cling to a single kill after dying 100 times, as if it makes up for everything. Honestly, it's pretty sad when you think about it.
And I'm saving this clip so you can't show the short, bitch. I got shot with a shotgun. Hang on, one sec. Let me save that. Let me save recent games play. Save last 15 seconds.
This guy in blue armor has lost about 5 times to another player and is clearly upset about it. The other player was super nice, but War Clan always gets in their feelings after taking an L.
Nash, you can't beat me out, bro. You suck.
Really?
Can't beat you. I already have, bro. You can't say I can't beat you because I already have.
Here's War Clan trying to spawn trap the door because they're too scared to get kills any other way. After getting farmed repeatedly, they refuse to do 1v1s or 4v4s. What's worse is that they can't even spawn trap properly. Spawn trapping takes no skill, yet War Clan still struggles to pull it off. They'll rely on anything just to scrape together a win. Just watch them die over and over. It's honestly sad how much they talk, yet they end up dying more than anyone else in the game. Clearly see War Clan teaming up with other players just to get kills. Isn't it sad that they can't handle it on their own? Does this remind you of any other clans that pull the same weak tactics? I'm sure you can think of a few. Let us know which other clans come to mind. Our clan does this repeatedly, embarrassing themselves in the process. UmadPushSqaure constantly makes his clan look like a joke. It's no surprise that those who left the clan have realized the truth and vowed never to return to such a pathetic low-tier group. They're much happier now, having moved on and outgrown the nonsense. To make matters worse, WarClan has resorted to buying fake subscribers and views in an attempt to seem relevant. On top of that, some members have even purchased scripts and third-party devices, yet they're still dying to basic players. How embarrassing is that? Even UmadPushSqaure, with all his third-party gear plugged in, can't secure kills. It's clear he needs to hang it up and quit the game altogether. Have you noticed this low-tier clan keeps coming back with a multi-group, only to keep dying repeatedly? They're so easy to kill, which is obvious because I'm always grouped with different people while taking them down. We managed to achieve a high manhunt against them, but due to the multi-group tactic, we eventually lost it to another team. UmadPushSqaure refuses to accept this reality because he's delusional and can't admit that other players are far better than him. He's so out of touch, relying on fake views and subscribers, acting like he's a top-tier player when, in reality, everyone has farmed him. In the Division 2, many content creators focus on build videos, showcasing different loadouts and strategies that they claim dominate the game. These videos attract players looking for an advantage, but the reality is that many of these creators rely on misleading tactics to make their builds seem far more powerful than they actually are. Instead of testing their setups against skilled opponents, they often target casual or inexperienced players who don't fully understand the game's mechanics. This allows them to rack up easy eliminations and edit the footage to highlight only their best moments, making their builds appear overpowered. One of the biggest issues with these types of creators is that their builds rarely hold up in real competitive play. Many of them, instead of refining their own strategies, simply copy loadouts from players who consistently defeat them. Rather than experimenting and developing something unique, they take setups that work against them and present them as their own, creating a cycle of misinformation. Players who try to replicate these builds often find that they don't perform nearly as well as advertised, leading to frustration and wasted time. A perfect example of this behavior is UmadPushSqaure. His build videos follow this exact formula, preying on weaker players, showcasing ineffective builds, and passing them off as game-breaking. When tested in actual PvP against skilled opponents, his setups fall apart, and he struggles to get consistent kills. This lack of success is a clear indication that his builds are not as dominant as he portrays them to be. What makes matters worse is that he artificially inflates his content with fake views and engagement to make it seem more popular than it actually is. Since his gameplay alone isn't enough to sustain a genuine audience, boosting his numbers creates the illusion of credibility. This has been fact-checked, so it's not just speculation. There is clear evidence that his engagement is manipulated. By misleading viewers into thinking his videos are widely appreciated, he further deceives players into believing his builds are effective, when in reality, they are not. While there are plenty of skilled content creators in the Division 2 who offer well-researched and tested builds, there are also those who prioritize views over real value. It's important for players to be critical when watching build videos and to test setups themselves before relying on them in competitive matches. Creators like UmadPushSqaure represent the worst of this trend, using misleading gameplay, copied builds, and artificial engagement to maintain their image. Players looking for real strategies should focus on respected members of the community who consistently test their builds against strong competition and provide honest feedback on their effectiveness. UmadPushSqare's clan is easily one of the weakest groups in the Division 2 community. The players within it lack awareness, strategy, and overall skill, yet they've been completely misled into believing they are better than they actually are. Many of them are brainwashed into following a leader who doesn't elevate their gameplay, but instead keeps them stuck at a low level. It's no surprise that several players who have left the clan have immediately shown significant improvement. The difference is night and day, proving that the clan environment stifles their growth rather than enhances it. The broader community is well aware that there are no true heavy hitters in this clan. None of them can hold their own in a serious fight, and it becomes painfully obvious whenever they step into PvP. They talk trash as if they're dominant, but the reality is far from it. Match after match, they get wiped out with ease, completely failing to back up their words with actual gameplay. The most amusing part is watching how often they rage quit, turning off their consoles out of sheer frustration when they realize they're completely outmatched. It's a recurring pattern that highlights their lack of resilience and understanding of the game. The lack of awareness among them is staggering. Time and time again, they fail to adapt to situations, making them easy targets. We had already reached a high manhunt status when another group third-partied us, cutting our streak short. Had that not happened, there's no telling how high we could have gone while farming these low-tier war clan members. The fact that they can't even hold their own for a short period speaks volumes. It's clear they rely on false confidence rather than actual skill. And when put to the test, they crumble under pressure every single time. It seems like they're huge fans of my Umbra build, probably because I farm them effortlessly every single time we cross paths. It's almost like they're drawn to it, considering how often they fall for the same plays without adapting. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're sitting there studying my gameplay, trying to figure out what makes it so effective. Just wait until they release their new build videos. No doubt packed with borrowed inspiration, and probably padded with bought views to make it seem like they're pulling numbers. You'll see it coming from a mile away. What's even more entertaining is watching their complete lack of awareness in real time. It's almost impressive how consistently bad it is. They don't just make the occasional mistake. It's a constant stream of poor positioning, terrible rotations, and zero adaptability. They seem completely lost the moment the pressure is on, like they've never experienced a coordinated fight before. It's honestly shocking how low tier they are, especially when they talk like they're top tier players. Meanwhile, we're out here absolutely dominating them and racking up ranks with ease. This is exactly what always happens when it's a proper 4v4 with no distractions. War Clan simply can't keep up. Their strategies fall apart, their comms go silent, and before they know it, they're staring at the respawn screen, wondering what just happened. It's almost routine at this point. Of course, just when we were on an unstoppable streak, some random team decided to show up out of nowhere to third-party us. Classic move, swooping in for easy wipes after we've done all the heavy lifting. They didn't earn those kills, they just capitalized on the chaos. But here's the thing, if that hadn't happened, we would have easily pushed our rank to 1,000 without breaking a sweat. There was nothing stopping us except that unexpected interference. War Clan couldn't even slow us down, let alone stop us. At the end of the day, their false confidence is their biggest downfall. They think they're elite, but every match tells a different story. One where they're constantly outplayed, outsmarted, and outgunned. And the best part? They'll probably keep coming back for more, never realizing they're just providing us with easy wins. Here I am showcasing one of my old builds that I put together a while back. It's funny how something I created so long ago still holds up incredibly well, even against today's players who think they've got the meta figured out. This build has stood the test of time, and the best part is watching how it completely throws people off their game. Since these guys seem to have an obsession with status effects, I figured I'd give them a proper demonstration of what a real status effect build can do when it's actually put together with skill and strategy. The moment I switched to it, you could practically feel the panic set in. Their entire squad went into meltdown mode, scrambling around with zero coordination. It's like they had no idea how to respond. I think they'd be used to handling pressure by now, but clearly, that's not the case. Watching UmadPushsqaure was especially entertaining. I honestly don't even know why he bothers equipping a gun, because it's pretty clear he doesn't know how to aim, let alone shoot effectively. Instead of holding his ground, he's just running around like a headless chicken, completely panicked, probably screaming and raging in his party chat. You can tell when a player has mentally checked out mid-fight, and that's exactly what was happening. He was running around with no purpose, no strategy, just pure desperation, hoping to somehow avoid the inevitable. But deep down, he knew what was coming. Another quick trip back to the safe house to respawn with the rest of his brainwashed squad. It's like watching the same scene on repeat every time we run into them. And it doesn't stop there. His friend wasn't any better. In a simple 1v2 situation, you'd expect some level of resistance, maybe a smart play or two, but nope, completely wiped out with ease. It wasn't even a challenge. Honestly, it's starting to feel like a routine at this point. Everyone seems to be farming kills off this clan like it's their full-time job. It's almost unfair how easy it is. This got me thinking, could WarClan even stand a chance against CapClan? I mean, they can't handle fights against us without falling apart. How would they manage against a clan that's even more coordinated and ruthless? Would they be able to handle that level of pressure? Or would it just be another repeat of what we've been seeing? Panic, poor decisions, rage in party chat, and a one-way trip back to the safe house. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think WarClan could actually pull off a win against CapClan? Would the fight even be competitive? Or would it be another lopsided beatdown? Honestly, I'm not sure they'd even have the confidence to step into that match. Let me know what you think. WarClan seemed a little too confident, and I honestly have no idea why. They rely heavily on cheesy builds, thinking it gives them an edge, but it's nothing more than a crutch. You can even hear one of their crybaby friends complaining about the very tactics they constantly use themselves. The hypocrisy is unreal. It's like they can't handle the idea of being outplayed. Instead of accepting defeat with some humility, they make excuses and refuse to acknowledge when other players are simply better. They won't even give us credit for our consistent victories, acting like it's some kind of fluke when the truth is right in front of them. The problem is their pride. They're too caught up in this delusion that they're top-tier players. But the results speak for themselves. Anyone watching can clearly see what's been happening. They're getting outclassed, outplayed, and exposed time and time again. UmadPushsqaure is trying ridiculously to get a kill on just so he can act like he actually earned it. But if you watch closely, you'll notice he never manages to secure a kill on his own.
Sad, bro.
That's why he's constantly getting dropped and sent right back to the checkpoint. It's a pattern at this point. No matter how hard he tries, he just can't pull it off without relying on his teammates to carry him. This is also the exact reason he avoids 1v1s like the plague. He knows what would happen if he stepped into a fair fight. In fact, he's even admitted to his own clan members that he's terrified of facing me directly. He doesn't want to relive the embarrassment of getting farmed like he did the last time we crossed paths. That loss really shook him, and you can tell it still haunts him. What's even more embarrassing is how his own clan treats him because of it. They've basically stopped asking him to handle his own fights, even though he's supposed to be the leader. Imagine that, being the leader of a clan, but your squad has zero faith in your ability to win your own battles. That's rough. They feel bad for him, but not enough to cover up the fact that he's not living up to the role he talks so much about. So what do you think about that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if your clan leader couldn't handle his own fights, but still had the nerve to talk big about other players? Would you still respect someone like that? Or would it be time to find a leader who can actually back up their words? Let me know. Just take a look at this. What on earth is UmadPushsqaure even trying to do here? Is he actually trying to find me? And if he somehow managed to, what then? Would he even have the nerve to take a shot, or would he just turn around and run like usual? It honestly looks like he's in full-on panic mode, completely lost, scrambling with no clue what to do next. Next time you see him, make sure to remind him he's in WarClan, which clearly stands for We Always Running. Fits perfectly, doesn't it? I honestly don't understand the whole emote routine they've got going on here. Are they emote warriors now? Is this some kind of new strategy? Or are they just trying to distract from the fact they can't secure any real kills? It's almost like this is their coping mechanism, a way to pretend they're in control after getting absolutely demolished over and over again. I mean, when you've been wiped out repeatedly, I guess spamming emotes is the only thing left to do to save face. You can tell they're completely lost. It's like they've forgotten the basics of going rogue, which is hilarious because that's supposed to be their thing. But after taking so many L's, it seems like they're terrified to even try. They've been broken down to the point where pressing the rogue button feels riskier than just dancing it out with an emote. Honestly, watching UmadPushSqaure trying to lead his clan is like watching someone with no map trying to guide a road trip. It's chaos, no direction, no plan, just pure confusion. Let's keep watching as UmadPushSqaure does what he does best, leading his entire clan straight into another farming session. It's almost like clockwork at this point. Every time they show up, you already know what's going to happen. They charge in with misplaced confidence, get completely obliterated, and then act shocked like it wasn't the exact same outcome as last time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, I think we've just found the perfect example. If I were stuck in that clan, I'd have left a long time ago. Actually, scratch that. I wouldn't just leave. I'd take UmadPushSqaure out myself, just to prove a point. Just to show him and everyone else how much of a low-tier player he really is. It's baffling that someone like him is even in charge. You'd think a clan leader would be the strongest, the most strategic, the one who sets the example. But in this case, he's the weakest link, dragging the whole squad down with him. What's worse is that he can't even train his own clan members to get better. That's the real tragedy here. A leader is supposed to elevate their team, help them grow, and push them to improve. But under his leadership, it's the complete opposite. No one's getting better because he doesn't know how to make them better. That's why everyone in that clan plays they've never picked up a controller before. Tactics are sloppy, the decision-making is horrific, and the lack of awareness is just painful to watch. At the end of the day, it's not just about bad gameplay. It's about bad leadership. And as long as UmadPushSqaure is calling the shots, WarClan is doomed to repeat the same mistakes, match after match. In this gaming context, I am thoroughly illustrating why employing an emote is not merely justified, but absolutely essential. Repeatedly, after achieving numerous kills with accuracy and reliability, asserting dominance via an emote has been the ultimate provocation for our adversaries. The intense frustration it evokes in them is unmistakable. It's evident how unsettled they become when they forsake any pretense of sportsmanship and descend into personal attacks. Their failure to manage even the most fundamental elements of competitive gaming is glaringly apparent. The phenomenon termed UmadPushSqaure has served as a trigger for certain players to expose their genuine nature, as their escalating irritation compels them to hurl racist insults at others. This degree of toxicity prompts a significant inquiry. Why would a clan leader not only permit, but seemingly support such conduct within their team? The answer is disconcerting. He seems to approve of racism when it's aimed at someone he personally disfavors, provided it originates from his own members. This isn't conjecture. It's corroborated by clear, indisputable video evidence already shared with the community. Yet, instead of confronting it, he opts to completely disregard it, acting as though it never occurred. Concurrently, their players exult over even the most insignificant successes, as if securing a solitary kill, accomplished solely through the combined efforts of multiple teammates, somehow affirms their prowess. The truth, however, starkly contrasts with their perception. They yearn intensely to believe they can stand their ground in a one-on-one duel, but repeatedly the recordings narrate a different tale. If you ever question their actual competence, the video proof provided here will dispel all doubts. Ensure you observe attentively, because as you continue watching, you will see the self-proclaimed War Clan suffer unceasing defeats, time and again. Their losses accumulate, and their exasperation intensifies, driving them to engage in their customary shenanigans. A particularly entertaining practice of theirs is combing through the comment section, capturing screenshots of others' remarks. They even post comments themselves, only to remove them later, as if attempting to erase their tracks. It's genuinely amusing to witness how profoundly they become engrossed in their emotions over a mere game. Be sure to return regularly and peruse the comments. It's nothing short of hilarious to see just how much this unsettles them. Observe how they repeatedly emerge, only to be promptly sent back to their starting point. We requested that they provide us with refreshments, yet they failed to do so. Consequently, we continued to eliminate them, demonstrating the ease of spawn trapping. Another player can be heard complaining about being targeted when a single individual barely engaged him. Their clan leader is incapable of organizing them effectively, bringing disgrace upon his clan. They should consider his removal, as he has not facilitated any improvement within the team. Despite utilizing a pulse scan to pinpoint my exact location, this individual consistently fails to defeat me in one-on-one encounters. It's truly embarrassing for him. Once again, it's evident that he indirectly acknowledges his lack of self-awareness and tendency toward tunnel vision.
Sneaky.
Please share your suggestions in the comments on how he can improve. Would you advise him to uninstall the game or perhaps leave his clan? Personally, I believe he will always remain a crybaby. It's honestly incredible to witness just how low tier these so-called war clan members truly are. In fact, let's be real, every single one of them is low tier, without exception. The only players who have actually managed to improve are the ones who had the sense to leave the clan. And guess what? The moment they walked away, their skills leveled up almost instantly, which is something you can clearly see in the statistics. There's no denying it. The numbers don't lie. I'm sure you've noticed how the players who left this sorry excuse for a clan have been absolutely dominating them in every type of match imaginable. Whether it's one-on-one duels, four-man fights, or full-on server battles, they have been farming these guys with ease. And what's even more pathetic is that instead of trying to get better, these war clan members have resorted to begging other players not to team up with me. Why? Because they desperately want to jump me. The funny thing is, even when they do try, they still can't manage to get the job done. What makes it even worse is that they're literally spending money on third-party devices and paid subscribers, yet none of it makes a difference. They're still getting absolutely destroyed every single time. Imagine that, spending money to try and gain an unfair advantage, only to remain just as bad as before. Now imagine pretending to be a skilled player while having zero actual gun game. Picture needing extra aim assist just to stand a chance, and even with all that extra help, still failing to land kills or even hit consistent headshots. It's honestly embarrassing. But the hypocrisy doesn't stop there. These guys will go out of their way to call players out for fights, only to avoid them when the time comes. A perfect example is UmadPushsqaure, who has repeatedly challenged me to one-on-one fights. Yet, when the moment of truth arrives, he does nothing but run away. Keep watching the footage, and you'll see it for yourself. I literally found him in a one-on-one lobby, and instead of standing his ground, he ran straight to a landmark just to die, and then never came back out. It was a complete humiliation. The entire lobby saw it happen in real time. Even other clans have witnessed this ridiculous behavior. EBK and MTK, for instance, have seen the war clan rage quit multiple times. These clans usually remain neutral, but even they can't ignore the truth. They've seen firsthand just how desperate the war clan is to get kills, and how completely fake their so-called highlight videos are. These guys act tough and love to call people out for one-on-one fights, but it's all a lie. Their trash talk is nothing more than empty words meant to make themselves feel superior, when in reality, they're completely delusional. And if you don't believe me, just ask any of the other clans. They have no problem keeping it real and exposing the truth, all while maintaining friendships with everyone. The problem is, war clans simply can't handle the truth. They refuse to accept the reality of their own incompetence. Meanwhile, I'm willing to group up with anyone and take them down without hesitation. The fact that they struggle so much, despite all their efforts to manipulate the game in their favor, just goes to show how terrible their gameplay truly is. At the end of the day, no amount of excuses, paid advantages, or fake videos can hide the reality of their failures. And the more they try to act superior, the more obvious their desperation becomes. Once again, we see War Clan resorting to status effects in a desperate attempt to secure kills. Do you think it's effective? They've become known for running away, which is fitting given their clan name. War could stand for We Always Running. Alternatively, it might mean We Always Raging, as they're also notorious for their temper. Imagine being so bad at the game that you try to rank up in Manhunt but can't even achieve a high level. It's quite embarrassing. They use armor regeneration just to run around without getting kills. It's honestly hilarious. Even UmadPushSqaure dies in a 1v4 while his team tries to keep him alive. They still refuse to acknowledge how bad he is at this game because they're delusional. It's mind-blowing how uneducated this clan is when it comes to gameplay. How can they not realize that their clan leader starts trouble with people and can't back it up? Isn't this pure comedy? Share your thoughts on this. In yet another 4v4 match where the opposing team didn't retreat, we secured an easy victory. We were pleased to demonstrate how effortlessly we could defeat them in these skirmishes. You'll observe that we eliminated them numerous times, though they often resorted to fleeing. Typically, we were the aggressors, advancing as they consistently fell back in fear. Is their clan leader instructing them to perpetually retreat? Could he be the coward of the group? Fancies himself the king of the Dark Zone, but we've clearly shown everyone that he's more like the princess of the Dark Zone. He has effectively become our subordinate, behaving like a scaredy cat. If you've had encounters with this particular clan and managed to defeat them, we invite you to share your experiences in the comments section below. We're eager to gather accounts from various players who have successfully challenged this clan and observed their tendency to retreat repeatedly. Have you also noticed that they seem to position themselves as the princess of the Dark Zone? We're curious to know if you've come across any skilled players within their ranks. Interestingly, it appears that individuals only show significant improvement after distancing themselves from the clan. Departing from the group seems to be the sole viable option for those aiming to enhance their gameplay. In yet another 4v4 confrontation against WarClan, we once again demonstrated the ease with which we could defeat them. Their reactions were notably bitter. Interestingly, members from another clan were present, observing as UmadPushSqaure, the leader of WarClan, betrayed his own team. It's quite astonishing to consider that the individual leading the clan is also the one undermining it. As true clan confidently perched atop the truck, we relentlessly decimated WarClan, time and time again. Observing our dominance, True Clan couldn't help but notice the increasing bitterness emanating from WarClan. Their inability to accept defeat was evident, leading them to be subsequently overpowered by another clan after our thorough annihilation. UmadPushSqaure was acutely aware that he stood no chance once more. Upon encountering their deployment of a mortar turret, I seized the opportunity to demonstrate the true potential of an explosive build. Unprepared for the ensuing devastation, they mistakenly believed they had been sniped and hastily accused us of cheating. Observing his clan being systematically overpowered, Scar chose to conceal himself, abstaining from participation due to our prior one-on-one encounters, where he consistently faced defeat. Now, upon noticing my presence, he opts to power down his PlayStation, avoiding solo ventures into the Dark Zone for fear of another confrontation. His clan, acknowledging his vulnerability, has advised him to steer clear of me entirely. Adding to his discredit, he has resorted to purchasing subscribers and views, driven by frustration over being outperformed by others in the game. Within his clan, he ranks as the second poorest player, a fact they have openly acknowledged, excluding him from their list of formidable members. This situation is nothing short of humiliating for him, leading to his frequent replacement during battles against us. He habitually concocts excuses to exit the game promptly, yet his clan remains oblivious to these actions, trapped in their own delusions. This segment, we observe UmadPushSqaure employing an armor regeneration build, which he appears to have adopted from other players. He attempts to showcase it as a top-tier build. However, the outcome is not as he anticipated. Upon engaging with more skilled opponents, he quickly realizes that his build is ineffective. To rationalize his defeat, he fabricates excuses to present to his clan, perhaps to preserve his self-esteem. As the footage progresses, it becomes evident that his build strategy primarily facilitates retreat rather than combat engagement. He struggles to secure any eliminations, leading him to question the reality of the situation and likely contemplate developing a new build to enhance his performance. It might be more prudent for him to consider stepping away from the game or emulating Sqaure by exiting the lobby upon encountering me. In fact, such scenarios have already transpired, as will be demonstrated shortly. It's quite embarrassing to witness how UmadPushSqaure is mocked by others as he flees in terror after confronting me. Here we go again, watching yet another disastrous attempt at creating what he calls a top-tier build. His armor regeneration setup is nowhere near as effective as he pretends it to be in his stage build videos. Instead of developing his own playstyle, he simply mimics well-known YouTubers, trying to pass off their strategies as his own. And those views on his videos? Complete. He relies on artificially inflated engagement just to make himself seem more important than he actually is. The reality is, he has no real understanding of how to construct a proper build. He constantly needs others to hold his hand, breaking things down for him so he can even function in the game. Now really think about it. Why would anyone take build advice from someone who clearly has no idea what they're doing? His so-called expertise is nothing but a false front, and his complete inability to create an effective build proves it. At this point, he should just throw in the towel because his fake subscribers and paid views aren't doing him any favors. Watching him hype himself up over numbers that aren't even real is beyond embarrassing. It's pure delusion. And then there's Sqaure, who operates exactly the same way. The second I show up in the lobby, he's gone, making up whatever excuse he can think of to disappear. What's even funnier is how his own teammates refuse to acknowledge this behavior or call him out for it. Are they afraid of him? Or are they just too deep in denial to admit the truth? Either way, when the so-called leader of a clan can't even stand his ground, it tells you everything you need to know about the rest of the group. Now, check out this weirdo. He challenges me to a 1v1 and loses repeatedly, yet every time he gets wiped, he claims it never happened. It doesn't matter if it's a solo fight or a group battle, he'll still deny it. Even with multiple 1v1 videos posted recently proving otherwise, he continues to act like they don't exist. Can anyone explain why he does this? Is this just another symptom of their clan's collective delusion? Oh, and let's not forget, this same guy has been exposed for making racist remarks, and their clan member Sqaure openly supports it. Instead of calling him out, Sqaure encourages this disgusting behavior, which is just plain weird. What kind of group stands by and lets that happen? And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, just watch as I run into UmadPushSqaure in a 1v1 lobby. The moment he spots me, he immediately takes off running. No hesitation, no fight, just pure terror. The entire lobby was laughing at him for it, and as expected, he never came back after fleeing. Can someone explain why he always does this? Sqaure pulls the same stunt. Why would anyone remain in a clan where both the leader and its members are constantly running away? Can a single one of them actually hold their own in a fight? Why does he rage quit so much after talking so much trash? This clan is known for running their mouths, but the second fights back, they crumble and get in their feelings. It's beyond hilarious. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around and taking it all in. Hopefully, you've enjoyed yet another entertaining video of WarClan getting absolutely humiliated. Be sure to leave a like, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share this video with as many people as possible. Stay tuned, because their losses are only going to keep stacking up. Until next time.